Hi, I'm here today with Dave Bolton, who is an international kickbox champion and has had some significant challenges in life. Um, I'm doing these interviews because it's a challenging time for everybody with COVID-19, and I want to talk specifically to people about resilience and how their experiences can be applied by you to help you in your life. So, Dave, you've had an extraordinary life.
Yeah, you
Can you can you tell us your story, please?
do you want the very long version or the short version?
We'll have the long version.
So basically, I'll just start from the beginning. I grew up from the ages of 0 to 9 in Germany. So my mum and dad were in the RAF. So I was born in RAF Vegberg, which is in Rheindaland, in a hospital, RAF hospital.
Yeah.
Was there, lived there till about 9. My granddad was in the RAF. My great granddad was in the forces, and my great granddad was in the forces.
Yeah.
My mum was as well. So it's kind of, this was obviously the natural progression for me to eventually go in. When I was about 7, I got highlighted for basically being on an elite development scheme for sport. At 7 to 15.
Yeah.
First in Germany, I ran the 100 meters, the 200 meters, and the third leg of the 4x100 meters. I was never beaten in a race. I was captain of the Great British Forces School.
Yeah.
It seems that means you go around and you race around Germany against other schools, but also against the German schools. Moved back to England, living on the Wirral where my dad was from. Mum was from Manchester, my dad's from Liverpool, Wirral. Hence why I support Liverpool.
Yeah.
Half your viewers have just switched off now. But so then I grew up. I was running for Wirral Athletics club between the ages of 10 and 15, where I never lost a race.
Yeah.
I won numerous awards for the future athlete. But it came to a point where all my life I'd been training Monday, Thursdays, 4 or 5 times a week at a young age, and then I'd be racing on Sundays. Now, I was very fortunate. I raced at all the proper stadiums: Don Valley Stadium, Crystal Palace, Liverpool Harriet. I was raced all over. Very, very lucky. But it got to a point where I just didn't want to do it anymore. I thought I was missing out on life. But sport's been my whole life. So even when that was happening, I was playing hockey at a very high level for county, volleyball for county. I played rugby. What I was really good at was combat sports as well.
Okay.
Left school with decent GCSEs, A to Cs, and joined the RAF.
Okay.
Joined the RAF. I was had off at
the natural progression.
It was really, yeah. I was going to go into what I wanted to do, but I won't because it'll go on for a bit. Anyway, I joined the RAF on my 18th birthday. Yeah. Went down there, did my training at Bolton, and did 3 years. I did a tour of Air Ops Iraq in 2000, and that was the best time I had in the forces by far. I loved it out there. Yeah. When I was in this country, I was very bored. Yeah. After 3 years, I chose to leave, called PVR, so Premature Voluntary Release, and I joined Merseyside Police. And this is where kind of my story starts. Yeah. It's kind of September the 6th, 2004. Life's going really, really well for me. I was just moving into on my first property with my girlfriend, who's now my wife, because we met each other when we were 16 in school. Okay. So just about to move in. We just found out she was pregnant with our first child, Josh. My career's going really well. I've started to make a bit of a good name for myself within the job. Life's great. It's the day off, and I phone up. I rode motorbikes, so I had a GSXR 600, a Suzuki sports bike. So I phoned up my friend, who's my partner on the beach, shall we say? Yeah. And said, "Do you want to go for a ride into Wales? Stunning day. I haven't got a lot on." And he was like, "Yeah, let's do it." But what was weird was, a lot later on, my wife. I'll do this all the way through until she's my wife. My wife, Sam. Said to me, she just looked out the window, and as I rode off, she had this weird feeling that she would never see me again. And now she's never said that before, or never had that feeling. I got to my mate Russ's, and as we were leaving, his wife said, listen, I don't want any of you ending up in hospital. And he'd never said that to us before, so it was as though everyone knew what was going to happen on that day, but me. So we went into Wales. We'd stopped off at the Ponderosa Cafe, which is a famous biker place where you have tea. It was a nice run. We'd had a really good ride out there. We thought about whether to head back or not, and we ran into a colleague who was in the control room. And we were having a chat, and I said, where have you been? He said, oh, the ride to Bala, the run to Bala is really nice today. So I said to Russ, looked to me and said, should we go? Do you fancy it? We'll get some food there. Yeah, great. So we'll go in there, and as we come onto the Horseshoe Pass, I've come right off the power because it was quite a sharp left-hand bend. So I come right the way down the power. He was about 200-300 meters in front of me and went round. Come right the way down, leant into the corner, and then came on the power gently. So when you ride a bike, when you lean into a corner, you need to come on the power, so it hugs the road and you curve that line, which is fine. As I've gone round and come on the power, there's been diesel and gravel on the road.
Okay, yeah.
So what's happened is the bike has wobbled. Now, what you must never do on a bike on a corner is brake, because if you brake, say that's the trajectory as you curve. If you brake, it's going to sit the bike upright and go in its path.
Yeah.
My natural reaction, I didn't know I did it, but that autonomous reaction, I jabbed that brake. It sat the bike upright and went across onto the wrong side of the road. Usually it would have been too bad, but unfortunately for me, about 6 to 8 foot away was a 23-ton articulated lorry. When they say time stands still, trust me, it does. I had a full-blown conversation with myself in my head on what do I do next. But my first reaction was, oh, expletive.
Yeah.
The upshot of that conversation, which felt like it lasted about 5-10 minutes in my head, which only lasted milliseconds.
Yeah.
I need to shift all my weight onto my left-hand side and jump from the bike. That kind of split-second decision saved my life. I jumped from the bike and landed on my back. I remember the whole incident. Landed on my back and started to slide across onto the left-hand side of the road, which is the right side I should have been on. As I've slid backwards and gone across, my legs have gone under the back wheel of the cab and the front two wheels of the Arctic, the trailer. Now, the body's an amazing thing. Had no pain whatsoever. Felt no pain. In that moment, I was lying there. I looked down, and basically I knew it was bad because my leg when the wheels had gone over, had snapped, my left leg had snapped up over past my head and gone back down. So I was lying on the road and my leg was now like this, the wrong way. I knew it was bad because see blood. And even in that moment, I don't know where it came from, I knew I had to stay calm. Because in my head I thought, if you panic now, your heart rate's going to go up, you're going to bleed out, you're going to bleed quicker. I just started waving to say I'm alive, get help, get help. The bike had been smashed to pieces on the road. Massive believer in fate. The person behind me in the car was an off-duty paramedic. So I didn't know it at the time, but she must have she must have stemmed the femoral artery because I completely severed it. So she must have done something. Obviously I didn't know at the time. I was just a bit shocked. My mate Russ comes back on his bike, obviously he's absolutely horrified. But what was kind of annoying, or not annoying, I didn't know at the time. I took my helmet off at the scene. People were saying, don't take it off. I knew from where I'd hit my back and everything that I had no back injuries. I only crossed at 20 miles an hour. It was a low speed impact. Unfortunately, it was with an articulated lorry. Yeah. So I took it off, but there was petrol, diesel all over the road. There was fairing, there was strewn across everywhere. I was likely to prove at the scene. So that means you're going to die on the asphalt, or you're going to die on transit to hospital. And I think people knew that. So they knew the road would be closed. Even if I didn't, the roads would be closed for a full investigation by the police to see whether I was speeding. People still trying to get past me, and they were driving past my head by inches. So mate Ross just stopped the traffic. One way was stopped anyway because the paramedic had stopped her car. The other way wasn't. So my mate Russ went over, leant in to speak to someone who was trying to get past. Said, listen, and just took the keys out the car and says, you're not getting them back till he's gone. It felt like an eternity for the ambulance to get there, and they were just trying to keep me conscious, keep me talking, which it did. The ambulance turned up, but I even had my sense of humour then. So they said, we're going to give you some gas and air Entonox for the pain. I said, I'm not in any pain, you know. And they said, all right, no worries, you might be in a second. So I got this gas and air, and then they realigned my leg, and there was this crunch and everything. Still didn't feel any pain, which I'm quite glad of. The body kicks out endorphins and all sorts of stuff. It was great. And then he said, just going to have to cut your left boot off. Now, I'd spent a fortune on my leathers. My wife actually had a go at me back in the day when I did, but I said, if I ever crash, this could save my life. She said, I'm just going to cut your boot off. And I said, they cost me 300 quid then. And then he goes, the paramedic goes, well, worth 150 now, aren't they? So we had a bit of a laugh. They couldn't take me in the back of the ambulance. If I'd have gone in the ambulance to Glenclwyd Hospital, I would have died. It would have taken too long, so I had to be airlifted. Cut a long story short, the air ambulance landed in the field next to me, and I was loaded in. And the last thing I kind of remember was the doctor on board just saying, I'm going to give you something for a pain in a minute. I said, I'm not in any pain. He said, I think you're in shock. He says, have you ever been in a helicopter before? And I said, no. And I said, which is weird, really, because I used to work on a tri-service base, which was helicopter training. He said, well, it's a bit of an extreme way to get one. I said, well, I'm in one now, aren't I? Result. Then he said, right, you're just going to feel a small prick, and then nothing. It was black. I was placed in an induced coma for 8 days. I was airlifted to Glenclwyd Hospital, where I had a 12-hour life-saving operation. I was later told that I was 30 seconds away from dying from bleeding out. At one point in surgery, they were putting blood transfusions in, and it was coming out the other end because I completely severed my femoral artery. So again, I always think, look for the positive. If the pilot or what had been on another call, I wouldn't be here today. If they were late doing something, if one was in the toilet or something and they were waiting.
Fine margins.
That's that fine percentage. So, I've never moaned about anything about my leg ever. The surgery, what the results of my injuries were, I had no upper body or anything, which I knew. My left leg had been completely degloved from above the knee to just halfway down the calf, which means all the skin's gone. Yeah. So the wheel's spinning over, and I had leathers on as well, completely took all the skin off. Obviously, as I said before, my knee had dislocated and snapped the wrong way. So I'd severed all my ligaments and tendons. I had to have 3/4 of my calf removed so I've only got a quarter of the calf. I still don't have ligaments and tendons in that knee to this day. It was only being held on by a few strands of muscles and veins. I was later told, because I was so fit, and I kind of forgot, before the accident, I'd just been selected for Great Britain to go fly out to Italy in the World Championships for kickboxing in 2004. Obviously, that didn't happen. But because I was so physically fit, that's what they kept. They said 9 out of 10 people would have lost your leg. I had to have 6 external pins fitted to my leg. So I had 3 in my upper thigh, where I've still got scars from now, and 3 buried into the femur. And basically that was because it was only being held on by a few veins, muscles, it would just flop around. It wouldn't be held together. So these rods were there to keep it fixed until I was transferred to Wiston in Liverpool, where I'd have skin grafting. And then in my head, I'd be transferred to Arrow Park, where I'd get the pins out and they'd reattach my ligaments, and life would go on great. On my right leg, I completely shattered it as well. And I broke my kneecaps, my patella, into 6 places through the sheer weight of from the Arctic. So that was kind of my results. Very lucky to be alive. I was told that I wouldn't potentially, they were going to amputate my leg at one point, and I think whether it was my family begged them not to. They said, "Well, we'll see what happens if he comes round." Yeah. So they kind of brought me out of my coma on day 7, but not that I remember it. But apparently I was in too much pain, so they put me back under. They brought me round on day 8. And again, it's not like the movies when you get brought round. I just remember coming round and just feeling this pressure on my arms and on my chest. Yeah. And what happens is obviously I was on an intensive care unit. I was intubated. I had this intubation that was keeping me alive. But when you come round, you feel as though you're choking. So you want to remove whatever's that obstruction.
Right, you got the tube down.
So if I was to rip that out, I'm going to rip my lungs and potentially die, or probably I would have died. So they pin you down, they slowly remove the tube out. And all I kind of remember is them saying, breathe. Come on, Dave, breathe. Because you breathe naturally, don't you? But because I've been on this machine, I've been doing it for 8 days. At first, I didn't even know how to. So it was this kind of, felt like eternity. It was probably only a couple of seconds. I was like, and eventually I took this big gasp of air. I don't really remember much else about anything else. I was that heavily medicated on so much painkillers. due to the horrific injuries I had. And I kind of was in for a couple of days in this kind of loose bubble. I didn't know where it was. I was transferred to Wiston Hospital, where unfortunately I contracted morphine psychosis. So basically I'd overdosed on morphine.
Okay.
Now, you're not supposed to be able to, because you have what's called a PCA, and I always get it right. It's the patient-controlled analgesia, and for the pain.
Yeah.
What you do is, if you're in pain on your own, and I, due to horrific injuries I had my own. So you could hit it 3 times and it locks out. What was happening to me was, I was waking up in the night, or I was kind of hallucinating a little bit that I was in surgery, and I could see my legs. So I'd panic and go 1, 2, 3, pass out. I'd wake up. So I did that all night, and then I obviously got morphine psychosis. So morphine psychosis is horrific. It's hallucinations as real as we are now, as real as anyone watching this. So you look around you, that's what it's like. Yeah. And the first one was when I just got to Wiston Hospital. There was 2 nurses at the end of my bed, and they were probably just talking about the ward rounds, what was going on. I physically saw them say, "Why is he here? He's done this himself. What a waste of a bed. He did this. It's his fault he caused a motorbike accident. How do we get rid of him?" And then one of them said, "Well, we'll start poisoning his food, or we'll work something out." So I retreated into myself completely. Didn't speak to anyone. Didn't really eat. But there was loads of other ones. There was something on TV had to do with hostage or whatever. Later on that day, the doors burst open of our ward. There was sirens going off, and a gunman terrorist had come in, and he had my mum, and he put her down, and the executor in front of me. And so I'm screaming no, and the nurse is running, and there's no one there. I didn't know I was in hospital. I didn't even know I was in hospital. I was just stuck in this vacuum of reality that wasn't virtual reality, should we say. There was some funnier ones, apparently. The guy opposite me, his wife turned up with a pizza, and I shouted over, "Oh, that smells amazing. What is it?" And he said, "It's a ham and pineapple." And I said, "Oh, Hawaiian?" And he said, "Yeah." So people don't like pineapple on pizzas, but I like it. I know my wife does. Yeah. And he said, "Do you want some?" And I said, "No, I'm all right." Apparently his wife wasn't there. It was just him sat in a bed looking at me going, "What?" No, that was kind of a funny one. But the final straw kind of came when my girlfriend, my wife, should we say, and my mum turned up, and I said to him, and I was rocking him in bed, and I said, "You need to stop visiting me. It must be costing you a fortune." Now I live on the Wirral, and Wiston, say St Helens, the edge of St Helens, is probably a 40-minute drive. Yeah. So I was like, "Why are you coming all this way? It must be taking you forever." And the cost, they were like, "What do you mean? It's only £1. I think it was 120 in the tunnel, and it's gone up. And I said, "The tunnel? There isn't a tunnel to Canada. I thought it was in a mental institute in Canada." Oh, right. Yeah. So obviously, concerns for my mental health were raised by my family, and the doctor came to me, and I had just had this moment of clarity, and I basically just said to the doctor, "Take me off everything." Yeah. He said, "Well, we can't. You're being too much pain." I said, I'd rather be in pain and know what's going on than stuck in this void where I don't know what's real and what isn't. I can't cope. So obviously they took me off everything. It took about 2 days, and I just remember waking up one morning and I felt different. Yeah. Suddenly the fog in my head had kind of cleared. Yeah. I still didn't put the pieces together too much of the accident, but I looked down, and obviously I had my sheets over me. So obviously I had big high pins, 6 pins. So the bed was like domes. There was blood. They were all saturated in blood. My right leg was in a full cast up to my hip. Yeah. And I'd gone from, I say, a 12 and a half stone fighting weight down to 7 stone in body weight. Yeah. So this is probably about 3 to 4 weeks after the incident. Yeah. 3 weeks probably. Just world came crashing down. Yeah. Horrendous time. It was a tough time. I spent 3 months, I think, in Wiston Hospital, lying in the same bed. Yeah. Looking the same direction, not sitting up, not moving because my leg. Yeah. I couldn't, because my legs were that bad. Yeah. So that was hard in itself. I had to go through 7 operations whilst there, and that was to do skin grafting. So basically take a layer of skin off. My donor site was my thigh, my upper thigh. Yeah. They put you in surgery, they put you to sleep, they take this very fine layer off, and then they put it through a mangle, and they put it onto the site, which is massive for me. And then they stapled it all on with just staples that you would find. Skin grafting should only take 60% of the time. All mine took. So again, very lucky. There's a big story about that being on nil by mouth for nearly a week waiting, and then the nurse is kicking off, but won't go into that. So eventually I've got all the skin grafting in. My mind's a lot better. I'm just chomping at the bit to get out, to get moving, to kind of try and get my life back in order. So I had to learn how to walk again. But because I've been so, and it sounds stupid to most people, I physically didn't know how to walk. The first thing I had to do was try and pick my left leg up.
Yeah, because your brain...
The neural pathways from my head down to my leg just didn't work anymore. So the first part was me just trying to lift my leg, because obviously it blocked out straight, so I couldn't bend it. It was just getting that kind of that. And it took a couple of days, and eventually I did it. I just remember in the one night just practicing, I did it, and then just shouting out, "Yes, I've done it!" And like all the rooms just looking at me, and the nurse coming in, and I said, "Oh, I've moved my leg, sorry." So the next bit was that I had to learn how to walk again. So the physiotherapist got tasked with that job. They were brilliant. The first time they sat me up, I thought I fell asleep on a shoulder. What had happened was I passed out. My blood pressure was that poor from being lying down straight. I was having blood transfusions all the time as well to get me my blood levels back up, even after the accident, whilst I was in Whiston, because I was still losing it. So it was very poor. It took about a week to 2 weeks for me to be able to sit up and sit to the end of the bed without passing out. Eventually, I was told that at first it was told obviously my leg was going to get amputated. Obviously, they did a test soon when I came around, which I can kind of remember, and it was like, and I could feel it, so it was great. But then they said I would never ever walk again without a walking stick or an aid or like that, because my leg was that too bad damage. So eventually I was walking up and down the big huge bay, because Whiston was great. Big huge bays. Eventually did that. I had to do the stairs, and you've got to do the stairs with a crutch. Now I lived in a flat, at the very top floor flat. Nice flat, but it's got loads of stairs. So I'll talk about that in a bit. Eventually I managed to be able to do the stairs. Like great, 3 months in hospital, off to Arrow Park, get the pins out, get me ligaments reattached, get back to work. I couldn't have been further from the truth. So I went over, I got transferred to Arrow Park Hospital, where they removed the pins out of my leg, which is a story in itself. So I thought I'd go down to surgery for it. They didn't. They just came to the bedside. So the surgeon comes over from Whiston, or where, I don't know where he was from. I presume it was Whiston, and he take him out of the bedside. So I'm looking around, but because I was in Arrow Park and no one had ever seen this, everyone wanted to watch. So I had an audience, and I was just like, they said, "You mind?" I said, "No, I'm all right." I said, "Is this going to hurt?" And he said, "No, it shouldn't do." And as he's the junior doctor or junior surgeon, whoever he was, he said he's going to be doing it. I said, "Yeah, it's fine." There was an almighty crunch, and I just started screaming, grabbed the pillow and started biting into it, tears. He said, "Stop." And he said, has he been given any painkillers? And they all went, "Oh no, I had no painkillers whatsoever." So obviously they gave me this thing called Oromorph, which they were a bit dubious about giving me at first, because obviously I had that massive morphine psychosis. So Oromorph isn't as invasive, should we say, as the intravenous one. It's oral, Oromorph. Made me feel like a bit better. Obviously the junior doctor went to do it again. He goes, "Stop, I think he's been through enough as it is." Basically what he was doing is he was tightening it instead of loosening it. I know. So when I do my talks, I always kind of say, so obviously in when he was doing his training, they don't teach you lefty, righty tighty. So the doctor removed them all. I thought, here we go. But what had happened is, because my leg had been straight for 3 to 4 months, scar tissue had grown into the joint. The scar tissue is like stretching leather. And that's what it is. So I could only bend my legs. If that's the hinge of my knee, I could only do 20-degree movement. It was locked solid. I had 2 manipulations whilst under anaesthetic. So you go down to surgery, they put nerve blockers in, and they crank the pressure on. I came round, and the doctor, Dr. Starman, I think his name was, at our part, said, "Sorry, if we'd have put an ounce more pressure on, we'd have snapped your femur." I was discharged home, and I was sent away for physiotherapy. I spent about 4 months in physio, where I got to about 30 degrees movement and was told that's it. And they said that's it. There was no more we can get. I paid to go private to see a top orthopaedic surgeon, who obviously had a leg injury himself, and his exact words is, "Right, you need to get over this and get over yourself. You need to accept what's happening to you. You've got 2 options. We either amputate your leg from below your knee to give you the best chance of prosthetics, or we put a steel rod all the way through to lock it out straight," which I've never understood why you would do that, but there must be a reason. So obviously I came out there, 23, kid on the way. just you know, sport's been my whole life.
Yeah.
That was it. My whole life had gone, and I was like, I'm not prepared to have this. I'm not having it. I embarked on probably a year worth of my own brutal rehab. So I'd be sitting on chairs at home with huge weights just hanging off them for about an hour, putting so much pressure on gently. I was in pain, tears. I'd stand up, I couldn't straighten it because it'd been locked out. It was just brutal. I'd be trapping, using belts and trapping them indoor and really getting people to pull it. Like really, the upshot was a year later, I've got to 95-degree bend movements.
Okay.
So I can walk, and you wouldn't know. I can jog, you don't know. I can run. If I sprint, you can kind of tell because I don't have that full mechanics, so it looks a bit weird, but it doesn't bother me. I can ride a bike. I can do my passions that I love, so snowboarding, mountain climbing, rock climbing, bouldering, all these sorts of stuff. So I went back to police. I was back in work within the police within 8 months, but only on light duties. And I was back full time after being told I'd never walk again within 18 months. So life's going well. I started back playing football. Started playing. Started off very, very cautiously at first, just playing five-a-side with the lads who knew to go in hard, and then built it up. And then I was playing Sunday league football, played rugby, but I really loved combat sport. So I went back to the gym where I trained out of, just to help out because I love youth development. So I started teaching the kids classes, helping out with them, and then did a few, started sparring. I've been sparring partners for some of the lads who were going to be fighting, and I was still very good. By changing the way I thought and the way I actually fought, I was actually still quite handy.
Okay, so you adopted your style.
I was always a big kicker with my right, and my hands were really good. So my left was really just as a feint or a front kick or something. I still do a front kick with. I just couldn't do a roundhouse, proper roundhouse or something. So I just thought, you know what? And just adapted the way I thought and fought. I thought, yeah, I'm still alright at this. So the trainer pulls in and says, "Do you want to start competing again?" So I was like, oh. So I had to face that fear, and that fear was like a fool, looking stupid in front of my friends, my family. And that's kind of, I think, that mental resilience. That's what mental resilience is. It's a person's conscious decision not to quit when quitting is the easiest thing to do. And as I said to you before we talked, I'm a sort of person, I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it properly, and I won't be defined by my injuries. So I thought, go on then. So my first fight, I won. I then went unbeaten locally. I then went nationally to Leeds and a few other places. Again, went unbeaten. And my first title I won was the Welsh Series title, obviously in Wales. I then became English title and English and British combined title champion holder. And then I got the call. I got the call from the Great Britain team, asking if I wanted to go for trials for the upcoming World Championships. We're going to be held in Pisa in Italy in 2009. So this was the end of 2008. So for me, this was me being able to put the world back right. In 2004, I was already in the team. I missed out going to Germany. So this is me 5 years later. I have the chance. So I embarked on 6 months of just brutal training. I was up and down from Nottingham, which was their HQ at the time, every other week. But then I'd be training every day. And I kind of sacrificed a lot. And I talk about this when I do team sports and stuff about the iceberg model. And then what you see the success, I sacrificed it. I sacrificed my family, the social life, my body. I'd be up at 5 in the morning and I'd go for a run to get the cardio side in. I'd go to work. My boss was brilliant at work. Really close friends. Now he let me disappear over to Liverpool to go and train at a mixed martial arts gym to work on various other aspects of basically my hands and a few other kicks. After work, I wouldn't go home. I'd eat in work and then I'd go to the actual weights and do the conditioning and weights part. Then I'd go and do my sparring. That was 7 days a week. And
what time did you get home then?
What's that?
What time would you get home?
At 5, I'd say probably about 10.
So get up at 5.
It wasn't as bad for the first 3 months, but when I used to take on a fight, it would consume me. I'm not in there to make up the numbers and get beat. If I'm doing it, I'm going to win. So I wasn't going out there to make up the numbers. I wanted to place. I wanted to place on the podium. Upshot was I got selected for the team. So all that hard work paid off. I flew out to Italy in November. I think it was the 2nd, 2009 with the British team. I had 10 fights in 4 days. where I made the final on the Sunday. Going into the final, I was fighting the Italian in Italy.
Yeah.
I had a fractured wrist, and I think I'd broken 3 of my toes. And also, my nose was a nice shade of red. I was littered and bruised. But when you're going to fight, when that adrenaline comes in, you don't feel it. Especially if you after a fight, if you win, which I did mostly, you'd be fine. A couple of days later, you're like, when did I get hit there? When and I've lost a couple of times, you feel everything.
Yeah.
Straight after you feel every hit. It's a completely different thing. But going into the final, I psyched myself up that much. Went in, and I couldn't knock him out. I couldn't beat him, but I dominated every single round.
Yeah.
Was crowned light heavyweight kickboxing champion of the world.
Okay.
So I just remember being stood on there, and my trainer come in. I was just in tears because I thought I was written off.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And he died, and look at me, I'm kind of on top of my field of the world.
Yeah, I'm on top of the world, and it's.
So I came home, big party. When everyone left, wife, because she was my wife then, got married in 2007. 2007, that's it.
Yeah.
Tore strips off me, tore absolute shreds off me. Told me I needed to stop because for 6 months
it dominated.
The kids hadn't seen me.
Yeah.
She'd been bringing up the kids on her own. She's a nurse. She was in the time. She was in the hospital. She was doing shifts. She was relying, and I kind of got it. She said, "What else have you got to prove?" But I was a sponsored fighter. I was in magazines. I was getting paid to go and do seminars. So this is me. The start, but I got it, and I agreed to. And I think my last fight was 2011. It was a boxing fight, which I won quite easily. And so that was the end of me kind of. Not through sport. I was still playing rugby and stuff like that. So fast forward, it's 2014.
Yeah.
I've been headhunted, rode through all the teams, been in tactical units, in charge of them, which is plain clothes. There was a problem on the Wirral, we'd be sent in to deal with it. We had ANPR, we had tracking devices, and I kind of got told to go for a promotion because I was a lot of the time running one of the squads.
Yeah.
Got promoted and got headhunted and went over to Liverpool and Knowsley. I was made, after an interview, I was made sergeant, a DS, detective sergeant in charge of a covert surveillance unit or covert unit, which was primarily in charge of major incidents involving firearms, serious organised crime. But I was also kind of the SPOC, so the single point of contact, the person in charge of dealing with the surrounding forces. So Manchester, Cheshire, Lancs, the Head Loop. So if there's a problem with our nominals, so nominals is our criminals in my area, which usually they are, unfortunately, I'd be dealing with it. My general day, I was supposed to be on days, 8 till 4, but as you know, I like to be, I went in because I was in charge of all the intel as well, and I was in charge of sorting out warrants. If there was a critical incident, I was just a spearhead of everything, but I loved that. I love pressure. I love stress. It's what I thrived on.
Yeah.
You know, I always say, while others run away from stress and pressure, I run towards it. Yeah. I just thrived on it. But so I was supposed to be on, as I said, supposed to be on 8 till 4, but I'd get up at 6, get into work, Knowsley. So it was without traffic, I could do it in 25 minutes. It wasn't that bad. So I thought, well, I'll go in slightly earlier to avoid the traffic. I can get my head, read all the intel that's come through. I can already decide who I'm going to send it to. The task done. My team came in, which I was in charge of analysts. I had profilers. I had 4 covert, surveillance officers. I had a nice little team around. We were all locked in our own secure thing. No one could come in. It was great. I loved it. And then we'd have the day, so we'd be setting up observation points, directing surveillance. It was just great. I just loved it. But I'd never finished till about 8, 9, 10. So
you've replaced the kickbox, all the training with work.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. It's a good way of putting it. So that was my thing, and that's what kept us going. So it was brilliant. It's May the 1st, and I come in, and it's my daughter's birthday on May the 2nd. So I'm in early as always, and I'm briefing. I say to my staff, I'm like, right, I need to get off tomorrow on time. I said, I've not done it once since I've been in charge of yours. If anything comes in later on today, I may need to take it on because I don't want to be going until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning because I want to be back in first thing tomorrow, get everything done, and I need two of you to step up. So they were like, no worries, Sarge. No. So the day's cracked on, true to form. There's an armed robbery in Manchester. and it was by our nominals, so our criminals in my area.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we were dealing with that. I was phoning up the assistant chief constable to try and get authority for a hard stop. So a hard stop is where our firearms unit, our ARVs as we call them, armed response vehicles, can basically withdraw their weapons and potentially use lethal force. So it's not a quick thing. It goes on. So I'm going on for ages. I've got hold of them. We're going through all this backwards and forwards of paperwork. It's about 9:30 at night now.
Yeah.
Joe, one of my colleagues who I could trust, went, Sarge, get yourself off home. I'll take over this. It's fine. I know what I'm doing. And I know she did. You're going to be in first thing in the morning. I want you to get off for your daughter's birthday. I said, oh, cheers, Joe. Handed it over. And she boxed it brilliantly. I went home. Got in about 10 o'clock, 10:30. Got in. The wife was in bed. I just said, I'm just going to grab some cereal. Had some cereal. Got into bed. I'm like, right. Set the alarm. Here we go. Went to sleep, and I came round at midnight with paramedics in my bedroom working on me. I'd suffered a 15-minute nocturnal seizure in my sleep. My first reaction was to kick them out of my house. I woke up and I was groggy.
Yeah.
So I said, what are you doing? Get out. And they were like, no, Dave, you need to come with us. And I was like, no, I don't. What are you doing? Get out of my house. Mm-hmm. So I looked to where my wife was on the left-hand side where she sleeps, and she wasn't there. So I span to the right. And obviously I said before, she's a nurse. Yeah. There's just tears coming down her eyes. And I said, what's going on? Get them out. And she goes, and she doesn't swear. She's not like that. But she went, do you think I'd effing phone the ambulance? She said, you've had a seizure. They were working on you. You were nearly dead. And apparently I'd stopped breathing. Right. And I was like, no. I said, come on, get out. Like that. So obviously the paramedics obviously trained for this and switched on. They just started getting me talking. Said, what's your name? Is it Dave? Yeah. I said, yeah, it's Dave. What do you do for a living? I said, I'm a police officer. I'm a sergeant. Where do you work? Oh, I don't know. What's your date of birth? Don't know. What's your GP? Don't know. What's your address? Don't know. And suddenly alarm bells start ringing. Oh. Then all of a sudden I was like, look, there's blood on my pillow. I bit him through the back corner of my tongue, so I bit it off. And then I noticed that I was in a bit of pain. I dislocated my right shoulder as well.
Yeah.
I was also littered head to toe in spots, so they thought I had meningitis. But my wife being my wife, so I said, right, we need to go. So I was taken straight into resus at Arrow Park Hospital. I went there, and I was supposed to be in quarantine, but my wife was saying, listen, if you had meningitis at this stage, you wouldn't even be alive now. You'd be in a coma, or you'd be... She says, it's not that. So we were there. I was there all day. I had tests, I had blood tests, scans. It was my daughter's birthday, so my daughter woke up with my in-laws, who were brilliant to get on really well. So they were at our house while Sam was with us. So Sam left at 8, saw the kids, reassured them I was over home. Luckily, and I always say this, they had never heard or saw anything that night, so they don't have that imprinted.
That image,
because I know that it does happen. So we're all in there. It's late in the afternoon, and me being me said, I'm going to discharge myself. I feel fine. There's nothing wrong with me. Even though I had 50, it wasn't even entering my head at that point. Sam's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. And then one of the consultants came in with their team. Mm-hmm. I had my mum and dad were there, my sister, and Sam, and they came in, and they were taken aback a bit. So I introduced who they are, and they said, we've got the results of your scan. Mm-hmm. Do you want me to give you the results here? I just had this feeling it was bad, so I cleared the room, bar my wife, obviously. And she just said, yeah, unfortunately, it's not great news. You've got a large glioma tumour in the front hemisphere of your brain, the front right hemisphere of your brain. She goes, we're not a specialist hospital, but we've confirmed it with Bolton Neurological Centre in Liverpool. I went, okay, yeah, okay. And there's just this silence, and it was like, yeah, I'm fine now. Looked towards my wife, Sam, looked back, and then just burst into tears, and like world had come down. So overnight, my life had changed completely. Yeah. They then said, we don't want to keep you in hospital. It was amazing. The sun, it was a really, really hot weekend. Yeah. It was a bank holiday weekend in May. So happened on Thursday. I was discharged on the Friday. And it was a bank holiday on the Monday. So my appointment at Bolton wasn't till Tuesday. Yeah. I was discharged on medical steroids, which are horrific, hate them. Obviously anti-seizure stuff and stuff to protect the line in my stomach, and loads of medication. Yeah. So I went home and trying to live normally for 4 days when everything was going on was probably one of the worst times. And I put that because I was working a football game. I think it was Everton versus Tottenham. And I obviously said I'm a big Liverpool fan.
Yeah.
And there was a guy who I was having banter with, was a big Everton fan, and we were just having banter, light-hearted as it was. So I was in charge of the cereal, so if it kicks off a right team, I was a sergeant, we'd go in, and we never got utilised for much when I did that. About a month to 2 months later, he had a seizure and a stroke. He was diagnosed with a brain tumour, and he died 3 months later from them. So that's what I thought was going to happen to me. So that's all I thought was going to happen. So I went in, I got into Bolton and saw Professor Eldridge, which he's retired now, but I felt so lucky. So he was the best surgeon in Britain. He was he did the guidelines for NICE, so the protocols and procedures, what you do when you do neurosurgery. So if a specialist gets stuck, they go to him. So I was like, well, again, fate.
Yeah. It's a bit of luck.
So I kind of went in and said, told him that story what I just told you, and felt like I was on death row. And he said, well, no, there is. It's a low-grade tumour. So I was like, okay, great. So I was booked in for surgery 6 weeks later.
Yeah.
Those 6 weeks were hell. I didn't sleep. I was blogging at the time. I didn't want to, but my friend said you should do it, and as a form of therapy.
Yeah.
It's been viewed over 750,000 times in 42 different countries around the world. Some of the countries I didn't even know had internet. So I started blogging, and one of the things I wrote about was my prison. My prison is my bed. Basically, I go to bed and I try and get to sleep, and eventually I fall asleep. But before I get to sleep, all I had in my head was, I'm going to die. I'm not going to see my daughter. I'm not going to see her walk down the aisle. I'm not going to see my lad grow up to be the young man I know he's going to be. My wife's going to be a widow. I'm going to leave her with debt. What's she going to do for the house? It was just all spiraling. I wasn't even bothered about myself. I wasn't even concentrating on myself.
It was everybody else. It was
everyone else but me. I'd eventually fall asleep. I'd wake up about an hour, 2 hours later. Boom! It goes again, head spinning. So what I'd do is I'd get up, I'd go downstairs. This is in the old house, and I needed to take my mind off it. So I'd do decorating. My wife would come down. There'd be doors off. I'd be painting them. One day she'd come down. I'd wallpapered a feature wall. And stuff. But I'm saying it now, like to do with the mental side of things. It's looking back now. I didn't want to be seen. As I said, kickboxing, rugby playing lad. I was nice though. I don't want to get people getting the impression I was a bit of a lad. I was a nice, but I didn't want to feel weak or look weak in front of my family. I didn't want my kids to see me. Like this weak. I should be strong. I'm the head of the family. I didn't want my wife to. I didn't want to worry her because she had enough worry anyway. She saw me. Yeah. I always said it must be worse for her than it is for me. So what I'd do is I'd go out for a run. Yeah. I wasn't supposed to because I'd be getting up at like 4 a.m, going for a run, pitch black down alleys. Obviously, I'd had a nocturnal seizure. Yeah. So I had a seizure. So I did it without anyone knowing. And the first mile, I'd just be crying, just letting it all out, just crying, whining. And I always kind of say, and I used to run past dog walkers. So I'd run past, and they probably see this like, big, this guy running past,
crying his eyes out,
crying, snot coming down, and I'm sure they just thought, bloody hell, mate, don't go running if you don't like it. Yeah. But then the second mile, I know my cycles. I go low to go high, and I'm like, right, sort yourself out. You've got that out of your system, and then the last mile, I only did 3 miles. I come back, go right. Yeah, you're all right now. You've got out your system. Game face on. I did a post today about wearing a mask. I may smile. Yeah, you should. Yeah. Anyway. And I'd be fine. My wife I was getting a shower, and she said, "Why are you getting a shower at this time?" I said, "I feel a bit sweaty." She goes, I said, "I've just got out of bed." She goes, "Well, why is your gym? Where's your running gear?" Yeah. But cool. She had a go at me, but she kind of understood why I was doing it. Yeah. So it came to, I booked in on the Sunday at literally just the weekend just gone. Actually, it was 6 years that I was in surgery. Yeah, so post. Yeah. So booked in, and I was terrified, absolutely terrified. Yeah. Now, I quite like being put to sleep. I've had that operations and surgeries through kickboxing, bike crash through. Not this time. I was absolutely terrified. Because the night before they come down, and I know they've got to give you the worst case scenarios, but mine was, there's a high chance that you may not make this, but even if you do, you could have a brain aneurysm, strokes, bleed on the brains. Yeah. Where mine was where my higher level of thinking was. Okay. It was a tennis ball sized tumour. Yeah. It was huge. But also where my personality was. So even if I was to make it through it, you might not be the same person. Would I have a completely different personality? Yeah. My high level thing, am I going to be more, what's going to happen? So and would I even know it? Because what happens is you I'd come around, I wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
So it was all this, and it was like panic, and I needed to read. I was in great hands. I was up talking after 3 hours. I was discharged after 3 days of having major brain surgery.
That's remarkable.
Life-saving. So, and they sent me on the way, and they removed, I think it was about 98 to 99% of it.
Yeah.
Got taken away. And one of the things, I was in hospital after the surgery, and every time I lay back, I would hear glug, 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 and an internal drip.
Oh,
drip,
right.
Drip. And that's where the hole was. It's filling up with natural fluid. Yeah. And the brain's obviously starting to expand. Yeah. And I said, is this permanent? And he said, not usually, but it has been known to. So imagine just hearing a drip constantly all night in your bathroom. That was in my head constantly. Luckily, it didn't stay. So I was discharged. I'd already chosen to take retirement from the police. Police were brilliant. I can't stop them enough. They were telling me to stay for another 2 years. They'd paid me full pay. I didn't have to go in. But for me, the histology came back, and I was told I had 5 years left to live. Like 5 years prognosis. So I said, if I've got 5 years, I want to do something else. I want to make something else. I want to spend more time at home, shall we say, with the family. So I'd already gained my strength and conditioning qualifications at Leeds University. It's kind of what I did my whole life. So did them and became a strength and conditioning coach. Very lucky, worked with UFC stars, boxers coming up, Stoke City football, the ladies team, a couple of their players, rehabilitating them, working with rugby teams on the Wirral, and working in a gym called the Underground Training Station. It's a really good gym which has elite athletes, but also train alongside everyday people. Absolutely loved it. Virtually a year, probably about 13 months on, I was having random MRI scans every 4 months. Came to this one. And he said, and I remember saying, she goes, I'm going on holiday, Anna Crofton. So with Professor Eldridge, he's brilliant, but he's not very good with people. So he was never at these meetings. And it's Anna Crofton, who I became really good friends with. I still am to this day. And I walked in, and she said before, I'm going on holiday, but if we need to bring you in early, we will do. There was nothing, so I came in, and as I walked into the office, Professor Eldridge was there, and my heart sank. I knew something had gone wrong. Sat down, and we had a talk, and said, "Listen, this is your latest scan." They span the scan round, and there's a walnut-sized black mass in the central hemisphere of my brain. Now I know that's a high grade straight away because it was black, because it doesn't hold a dye. The cells are mutating quickly. Straight away, I'm not having chemo. I'm not having radiotherapy. That's a glioblastoma. I'm not putting that crap in my body, like proper going off. I'm on tears everywhere. They said, "Listen, doctor, let's just get you through surgery, and we'll go from there." I was in surgery that weekend. So it was 6 weeks on that one. It was a couple of days. Obviously, booked in on the same ward, Cairns ward. Absolutely brilliant. Loved them all there, at my time there. Went down for surgery. Wasn't bothered this time. I've been through it once. So surgery didn't go to plan, because from scan to surgery, so that was 2 to 3 weeks, that walnut-sized black mass had doubled in size. That's how aggressive it was. So surgery was a lot more complicated, a lot longer. So my original scar, got my hair slightly wet, so you can probably, was there to there. The new one going from there to there. Last time I was up talking, went straight back onto the ward. I spent a day in the intensive care unit, and then a day in high dependency unit. I spent 14 days in total in Wiston Hospital. On my last day, Anna Crofton came in with Christine, who's the sister on Cairns ward, who'd become very close friends, and she looked after us. So we got your results, we want them now. And Sam was there, my wife, and we said yes. We went into the family room, and she just put her hand on me. She just sat there, and obviously I set up with friends. She had tears in her eyes. I just thought, this isn't good. So I put my hand on her knee, because she sat next and said, "Listen, it's a glioblastoma. I know that. I've got 12 hours to live. Whatever you say is, it's going to be a bonus." And she said, "Yeah, it is a glioblastoma." So glioblastoma is the world's deadliest tumour. It's the biggest for the under 40s, and it's known in the medical profession as the Terminator, because it's relentless. It always comes back. It gets you. No one gets away. So I was like, right. And she goes, and I said, life prognosis, because I want to know everything. I always do. I asked. A lot of people don't, but I wanted to know. So your normal life prognosis for a glioblastoma is 3 months without treatment, and then 12 to 18 with treatment. because mine was so aggressive, mine was 6 to 8 months with treatment. So I was like, right. So obviously tears come down, everything, and we were away. So in my head, I was like, what do I do? I went away and went, do I spend 3 months now living the best life I can and making memories, or do I go through 6 to 8 months of treatment just to die at the end of it? So I kind of have this decision. I slipped into one of the darkest moments of my life. It's so hard to explain how dark my world was at that point. I'd look death in the face. I'd give it. It didn't even fear me. I wasn't even bothered that I was going to die. I was literally sat on the couch and I was waiting for it to happen. I've been told, not by Anna, but by other people from the medical industry, just go away, get your affairs in order, eat and drink what you want. You know, that's it. Yeah. So I lay on that couch and I didn't move for a week. Just sat there eating rubbish, just watching TV. And kind of when I do talks, I kind of explain it as, you know, that what's it called? Time lapse photography.
Yeah.
Where one thing is stationary in the centre and everything's.
Yeah, it was you.
Family coming on round upstairs, and I was just sat there. So to be honest, and she knows this, my wife probably is the reason why I'm still here. One day she comes in and she goes, "Come on, we're going for a run." I said, "I'm not going for a run. Why would I go for a run?
Yeah,
well, you know, sport, fitness, whole life. Wouldn't being fit. I'm going to die. Why would I want to go on a run when it's pointless?" And she was going, "We're going." I said, "I'm not." And obviously, women are always right. And she dragged me on this run. It was horrific. Like being a fit person, I wasn't fit.
Yeah.
I ran. I think it was about 5K. I was retching. I had stitches. I walked. Yeah. I had to stop and sit down on park benches. And my wife beat me, which never happened.
Yeah.
I can kind of say that because she's at work at the moment. So. But you know what? That night, I felt that just a little bit better, just a little bit, nothing major.
Gradually.
And then I slept a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I was sat downstairs on the couch as I was, just crying.
Yeah.
I said, "Right, what are you doing? You said that you were going to live the next 3 months. You've sat on the couch and you've done nothing. You're wasting it. So what are you going to do? You're either going to continue this pattern, and be depressed and have a self-pity party for the cards you've been dealt in life once again, or, and I didn't think I was going to still be alive, or you're not average. You never have been. So if 6 to 8 months is the average, I'm not going to average. I'm going to go 18 months, and I'm going to do everything in my power to get to 18 months.
Yeah.
And that decision, that run, is what I call the watershed moment, which was the catalyst for me to change my complete mindset from negative to positive and go for it.
That was a switch.
So then I embarked on treatment, which was horrific. So I had radiotherapy and dual radiotherapy and chemotherapy. Because I have a brain tumour, I have to we have a blood-brain barrier.
Yeah.
So I can't have intravenous chemotherapy that you see on TV and you see other people.
Okay.
You have to, because it wouldn't go to the brain.
Yeah.
So if you get a blood infection like cellulitis, you die straight away.
Yeah. So
we have this protective thing called a blood-brain barrier. What happens is there's 2 ways to get to it. One's through the sublingual route, which is 2 sublingual glands under your tongue.
Yeah.
The other one's via your stomach. Because there is that relationship between your stomach and your brain.
Mm-hmm.
So 20 minutes before radiotherapy, I'd be given my tablets at Clatterbridge Oncology Centre on the Wirral Brilliant facility. I take them 20 minutes before, and then I go in and have my radiotherapy. I call it being zapped. I'd go in as one person and come out as someone completely different. I'd be lying there, so it didn't even take that long. It took longer to get your head strapped in.
Yeah.
Get you, because you physically can't move, because they call them greys. So you don't fry your whole head, but they had to do a lot of it for mine. Because mine was an astrocytoma, which means star, which means it can spread. So I was like, so I had a lot of it. But it's weird because I'd be sat there, I'd be thinking, keep trying, stay calm. Mm-hmm. And I'd be thinking the next thing, you'd be thinking of nothing. It's just like the radiation was zapping your thought. And I'd come out and I'd just be like really tired, really drained. Yeah. So this was going on. In my last week, we went to, very fortunate, as I say, I was working for Under Armour. I was a brand ambassador for Under Armour. And I went to I was VIP guest with my wife to the England, the Rugby World Cup. Yeah. That was held in England at Twickenham. And we were guests to watch England versus Wales, where they disastrously lost. Yeah. But there were signs there we should have got onto. I was only talking about it with my wife the other day. Because we can laugh about it now. We couldn't at the time.
Yeah.
She said I was speaking really quick and being so manic about certain stuff.
Yeah.
And I was being sick a lot as well. I came home, and on the Monday, I was in my last week of treatment. So my last week of radiotherapy. I went in, had my radiotherapy, felt horrific, came back home and got into bed, and I had one negative thought that kind of mutated into a panic attack, which then led into a full psychotic mental breakdown. The next thing I remember is I'm outside my house, I'm spinning round in the front, in the front. Luckily we were on a close then where we were. I thought I'd been sent down from the universe. I was an angel. I could stop time. I was here to cleanse the world. But in that moment, I thought that was true. So I was saying that. How did you come home? You know, how did? She said I was just popping back in.
Yeah.
So she came back. Just fortunate. But she was like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "No, you're wrong. I can." And then I stopped there. And I just remember to stop there, looking at her and going, "I can stop my heart. Watch." And it was just, but I thought this was normal. So I got rushed to Arrow Park Hospital again into the resus. I kind of joke around, said, "When do I get my loyalty card stamped?" Yeah. Times I've been in this resus. But the point it wasn't. I kind of slowly started to come out of it.
Yeah.
In resus, but I had so much noise in my ears. It was like pure white noise that when I spoke, because I was so drained, every time I tried to speak, it would come out wrong and I'd sound insane.
Yeah.
I tried not to speak.
Your body was exhausted.
Yeah, but that made it worse because then I wasn't answering questions, and I was there I was being assessed, and I was literally a day away from getting sectioned under the Mental Health Act. And Clatterbridge sent up a oncology psychologist, so it's a cancer specialist who deals with psychology specific for the brain.
Just a bit ironic. And
he just spoke to me, a few things he said to me, and suddenly he just knew what to say, and I started to talk to him.
Yeah.
And I was discharged 2 days later, and what it turned out was the reason why I'd had this psychological breakdown was because I was on dexamethasone steroids on too high a dose for far too long. And that with the radiotherapy, with me feeling there, was just a perfect storm just to trigger it.
Yeah.
Pardon me. So I was released home again. I went to stay at my mum's for a week because the kids never saw it.
Yeah.
Me and my wife were both worried if it was to happen again, the kids were there.
Yeah.
Not they'd be in danger, but we wouldn't want them to see that. So
it would be scarred by the whole experience.
So I spent a week at my mum's and finished my treatment, which was great, and it was relief. And you ring a bell on the end of your treatment for radiotherapy. You might have seen it.
Yeah.
It meant that much. I got a video. It meant that much to me. I had to take a couple of breaths because I got through it after that, especially that mental breakdown.
Yeah.
Right there, I was just in tears. Oh yeah. So then I had a month off then. And then I had to embark on double strength chemotherapy.
Yeah.
So my cycle would be 5 days of chemotherapy, gradually feeling horrific. A week, just horrendous. The third week, I'd be up, I'd be going out for walks, getting some fresh air. And then my last week, I'd go and train in the gym. So someone would take me because I couldn't drive. That was one of the things. That was it. My license had gone. So I get picked up and only light stuff just to keep my mind switched on again. The endorphins, the oxytocins, you get from. So that was kind of my routine. First cycle, they didn't give me enough antiemetics, so anti-sickness. So on the last day of chemotherapy, I was sick from 9 o'clock at night till about 10 the next morning, constantly. I won't go into the details, but I was drinking water.
Yeah, it was
on the line. It was coming up, and I knew I was going to be sick, but I had to because it just hurt that much. So I was rushed into Arrow Park Hospital again. Was given obviously on a drip for saline, rehydrate, and then proper anti-sickness drip. Great. Second cycle, same thing happened again. They gave me enough, but they gave me not the strongest ones.
Yeah.
So same thing happened again. Third cycle, because I used to go in before you get your chemo, you get your bloods done, you get to just to make sure your T cell count's high enough to cope it. Mine were always brilliant. And he said, "We've never had anyone so sick as you, ever." I said, "Oh, that's great." So he tried on this thing called Apriant, I think it is, which isn't usually used for brain tumors. So I thought, great, I'm a guinea pig. It worked.
Yeah.
But right, we've got this sorted. Stupidly, on cycle 4, I went to the rugby on the day after I finished my chemotherapy tablets. So I feel gradually feeling, this is cycle 4, so I'm worse than what I am from the beginning. I hadn't taken my anti-seizure tablets for about a week, 2 weeks, because my consultant said, you'll never have a seizure again. So I was like, I got why potentially I was taking them as prevention, but one of the things he said is if you have one drink, it's like having 6. I just wanted to feel normal. I just wanted a normal weekend. So me and the lads went down to Twickenham, as we always do, and watched the Six Nations, England versus Wales. Fate again, a friend of mine, Nick, cancelled on me the day before. Mm-hmm. So I was like, right. So I phoned up my mate, Matt, best mate from when I was with kids, still on. Doesn't even like rugby. I said, look, free weekend, we're staying in Windsor, free ticket. I'll lend you my shirts so you can watch. So he came. We got to the travel lodge down there, and we were supposed to be in single rooms. Yeah. We were all in doubles. Yeah. Again, this is another thing that was good. So we went to the rugby. We won. Yeah. We won. I ended up only having a shandy. I didn't even have a drink because I just didn't feel well, obviously, with the chemo. Got back to Windsor, and what usually happens is we all go out there's a few clubs, and we're out till about 2 in the morning. It's about 8 o'clock, and I said, I'm not well. I need to go back to bed. I just want to sleep. Yeah. As I'm walking off, Matt says, I'll come with you. I said, no, stay with these. I was gonna be in misery. And he went, I don't want to. He came back. The last thing I kind of remember him saying was, are you all right? And I said, I just can't sleep. I came round 2 days later in Slough Hospital with my wife and my sister by my bed. I'd suffered 5 nocturnal seizures overnight. Basically, if my mate Matt hadn't have been in that room, raised the alarm, I only stopped having seizures because the ambulance turned up and gave me some sort of drug. Yeah. The result of that is I dislocated both shoulders and I bit my tongue clean in half. When I do my talks, I do have that slide, and I always say, if you've got squeamish, look away for a second. Yeah. Don't really remember much about that week because the stuff they give you which is luckily really. After that, it kind of plain sailing, should we say? And then every scan I had since was getting better and better, and then I got the key thing is that 18-month part, and I went past that as well. So that's the point where I thought, do you know what? I am going to outlive this. I'm going to be a new type of statistic, one that's out there on their own. Yeah. But during those, that's the thing, and people say, "Oh, so positive. How do you do it?" And most people, because before I had my initial seizure, so in May, my 9-year-old cousin Eve passed away of neuroblastoma. Okay. The deadliest childhood cancer. Yeah. Anything with blastoma it's kind of game over. So she was diagnosed at 4, and she died at 9. So for 5 years, she dealt with that. A lot of people said, where did you get your positivity and strength from? She never complained once. I've got videos of her bouncing on a bed while having chemo. It was just to that. And I was like, my God, the last 5 years, I technically died. I was resuscitated in my bed. I had brain surgery. Yeah. Radiotherapy and chemotherapy where I had that was sent away. Then it got rediscovered. Yeah. I then had surgery again. I had chemo where I had a full mental breakdown. I was hospitalised that many times through chemo. I had seizures. During that time, both my grandparents, both my nans, passed away. In 2016, at my nan's funeral, we found out that my mum had been diagnosed with ovarian cancer. Yeah. And unfortunately, she passed away in 2018. Yeah. With me holding her hands at her side. She was only 59. We also lost a pregnancy as well during that time. Yeah. I also, in 2018, was diagnosed with skin cancer, but it's that minuscule. Yeah. Benign. I had a tumour cut out my chin. Yeah. It's there. I've got a tattoo over it for my mum now. Right. Because I've got that tattoo is about a whole of my life. Everything on it. I had nothing left. So I got an owl, which was her favourite animal, over my heart, looking into my chest. So, and it was just like, it was just constant, but it was a small tumour. It was benign. It's compared to what I've been through, it was insignificant. So I've had 5 years of just hell. Always felt as I was going 1 step forward, 3 steps back. Something else. Last year, since 2019, it's been great. Apart from obviously the pandemic we're in at the moment. Yeah. And I put it down to being very mentally resilient, very positive. I'm a very positive person. I may have cancer, but cancer doesn't have me. It hasn't affected the choices in life I've made. If anything, it's made me see and experience more as a result. I've been on, I was on Sky series called The Heist as a detective.
Oh, right.
Yeah, just if I was still in the police, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
I now kind of see life through a new perspective, a new kind of set of eyes. I used to work 16 hours a day, Monday to Friday, or 14, whatever. At weekends, I'd play rugby on a Saturday, and shit on a Sunday. That was my life.
Yeah.
Now, I'm stress-free. I know I used to thrive on it, but once I'd had the injury to the brain, I didn't. I melted down. I'm stress-free. I get to see my kids every day.
Yeah.
I used to walk my daughter to school, to primary school. I can go to their sports days. I can go and watch them play rugby. I can watch plays. My daughter's really good at drama. So she's in like the Lipper Academy. So I would never have experienced that. I've got better relationships with my family.
Yeah.
I've had bad ones, but obviously I left home quite early. I was away all the time with the forces.
Yeah.
I could go 3-4 months with just the odd phone call to my sister, and now find it weird if I've not spoken to her in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of, there's so
your relationships are so much better.
Well, yeah, stronger, so much stronger, and your friends as well. You suddenly realise who matters in your life and who doesn't.
Yeah.
I actually say, and people, I'm actually grateful for this, what happened to my head. It's changed my aspect. It's changed who I am. Not that I was a bad person, but for the better.
Yeah. Your focus.
It's put me on a path to help others.
Yeah. Which is great.
Yeah.
So you still do all the sports coaching side?
Yeah, so I'm a strength and conditioning coach. I've stepped a lot away from that. I'm passionate about getting into professional sport, like coaching rugby, like in the Premier. Kind of once I had my second operation, again, I reevaluated, and it's not something to do, because that would have took me away permanently quite a lot. I'd have slipped back into what I always do, work.
So you also do speaking? So motivational speaking and resilience.
Yeah, for the first 2 years, I was doing talks for free for the NHS, for local things, just because I wanted to give back. I wanted to provide hope to other people.
Yeah.
Because when I got diagnosed, I was told, don't look at the internet, don't go on Google, but you do.
Yeah.
And it was just, for glioblastoma, it's horrific. There was just
nothing.
I was going to go within 18 months. I could find no one who'd gone past it. And then I found a girl in America called Cheryl Proyles. And at that point, she'd been 9 years living with it. And then you believe. So I was like, right, so I contacted her, saw what she was doing, because I completely changed my lifestyle. Yeah. Food, diet, training, the lot. I was just all to fight this. Yeah. And I did a lot of stuff anyway. Yeah. So I had a few emails. I thought, right, that's the hope. I think now I've become that hope for the people. That's what I wanted to. Yes. I know Bolton. If anyone young gets diagnosed with me, they're told to contact me through I've got a website specifically for cancer. Yeah. A page on Facebook specifically for cancer. And I think I've got this platform now. And what I wanted to do is kind of say, there is hope. Yeah. There's another way, don't give up. Yeah. So I was going around doing all this, giving back. So I think that was the most rewarding thing I could do, was by turning my negative situation to a positive for others. Yeah. And I did a talk. I was asked to do a talk about mental resilience. And my talk it just started off as just my life story, what I've talked to you, a bit more in depth, and go into that. And so I did this one for the Institute of Directors, for the Northwest Division in the iconic Liver buildings. Yeah. There were 60 directors of all these multi-million-pound corporations, and I did my talk and finished, and I know when people are going to cry. I know when people are going to laugh. That was the thing. Afterwards, the head of it, the guy called David Wafer, came up to me, because I was doing it for free. That was a free. Yeah. He said, I've arranged these for years. I've been all over and seen speakers. Yeah. He said, I've never seen one like you. One who gripped that audience, who was passionate, who was emotional. He says, why aren't you getting paid to do this? I said, I just don't want to. He goes, do you have a mortgage? And I said, yeah. He said, you need to get paid. You got a mortgage. He took me under his wing and introduced me to the right people. Good. And I started networking, kind of cut back on a lot of my clients, kind of cut them all away that was in the gym to focus on this. Yeah. So I'd be up giving free talks in Liverpool 6 in in Manchester, just going to network meetings, just getting my name out there. Yeah. A year on, I've been talking to getting paid well. Yes. Unilever, Under Armour, BT, Barclays. Very passionate about mental health. I
Yes.
teamed up with a Merseyside counselling therapy centre, a woman called Charlotte Bolton, and she's got national lottery funding. So I get paid to go into schools, secondary school, give my talk, and then talk about mental resilience. Because what happened was, from that kind of session, I thought there needs to be a takeaway.
Yeah.
People will look at your talk and go, "That's brilliant. How does that transition to me?"
Yeah.
So do my talk. I then talk about what mental resilience is.
Yeah.
Can I improve it? Is it a muscle? Go through that.
Okay.
And then for the likes of Unilever, I'll spin it into leadership.
Yes.
Leadership. Yeah, Unilever did leadership when I kind of talk about what's the difference between a leader and boss, how to create a positive work environment to increase productivity.
Yeah.
I've done for team sports. So I'll say, I talked before, I did crew at the academy the other night. I've done Morecambe, where I talk about the iceberg pyramid. I use my how I became world champion. The good habits you need to form, the discipline, the dedication. That encompasses the sacrifice. I've then also got like my time in the forces that I can put a spin on. So I can do teamwork, leadership, positivity, overcoming it, just so I can fit it to anything.
Okay.
I've got a few good takeaways, and from that, it's developed into a decent business for me.
Excellent. Because you are inspirational, Dave.
Yeah, I get that. I've learned to say thanks now, because it doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
I don't think I am. I just think I'm a dad, a lad, a friend, whatever you want to say, who wants to beat this and is passionate about it. And if I can help people along the way, that's all I want. So I didn't ask for this. You
didn't set it up to be inspirational. It's just to help people.
I do. Yeah. And I've learned, because if someone says, I say, well, I don't think I am, it's shut down. I get why I am. Because I lived it. It's nothing special to me. I don't find it anything special. Yeah, it's just I still day what you do. Yeah, I still have cancer. I still live knowing that any day, the one piece that's left could kickstart and mutate into the glioblastoma again. And I could go back to square one. I could be facing 3 months again. But I choose not to fuel it. I choose not to acknowledge it. In my head, I say, well, it's not coming back ever, so I'm cancer free. Yeah. But realistic and know that it could do. Yes. Yeah. I don't let, as I said before, and I don't let it govern my life. I don't let it. Yeah. I'm not stuck in hiding, going, oh no, thinking about it. I can go 3, 4, 5, 6 days where I don't even realise I've got anything wrong with me. Yeah. I find I'm very fortunate and lucky. Unlucky, but lucky. I have, through everything I've been through, no side effects, long-term side effects from that. Whereas I've got friends and I know people who have had a lot less than mine, say a grade 1, tumour, very small, but they can't move the left-hand side of the body. Yeah. Position. I think, so I just feel lucky for everything I've been through, the seizures, the damage, to still have no side effects. I just count my blessings, really. It's a remarkable story, and you are inspirational, whatever you think about it. So thanks for taking through the story, and your resilience is amazing. So I hope this gives perspective to a number of people who are watching this. And I'll also put links to your website, davebolton.co.uk. Yeah, it is. I'm on Facebook as My Journey for Survival. So the 4 is the number 4. Right. And my website for cancer, it's got like what runs a taught, the treatment I went through, what works, what doesn't work. Yeah. Actually, I've not been on it for a while, but it has a lot of information there. Yeah, I'll put these links with the video. It's just www.journeyforsurvival.co.uk. So it's not and the letter 4. Mm-hmm. And it's if anyone's listening and they're going through tough times, a piece of advice is just stay positive. Try a lot of the positives when all looks dark. That's what I've done. I can believe I can take a positive out of any situation. But it is easier said than done. It's easy to be positive when everything's going wrong for you. So it's important to try and cling on to that bit of hope. Find that light. Find that light. Find something to cling on to. Stay positive, because adversity, setbacks, like the ones we're in now, the unprecedented times, it's temporary. It won't last forever. Quitting or giving up will last an eternity. So just keep going, keep digging deep. You will get through this. And if anyone's out there and they are suffering, feel free. I get contacted 4 or 5 times, 6 times a day from people all around the world via either my email, through my cancer site, or via Facebook. asking for advice and help. And so again, I think that's probably one of the most rewarding things I've done out of this situation is being able to help others,
people.
Help others who are going through a tough time. It doesn't have to just be cancer related; it could be anything. So, yeah.
But Dave, I'll put all the links to your sites with this video. I'm sure there's lots of people going to be watching this who will be inspired and who it will help them significantly.
I'll give you a link to a YouTube video that it's 2.5 minutes long and it's just skims over. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah. The only thing is though, it says 18 months ago I was given. Well, that was made and released in 2017. So yeah, I'm a lot longer.
And it's now 2020.
Yeah, 2020. So 6 years now living with the original one. I'm coming into 5 years with the glioblastoma as well.
Amazing.
So
and you look healthier than me as well.
Well, that's all I do is train. So yeah, you've got to keep yourself healthy and fit.
Dave, thank you very much. Much appreciated.
Thank you for having me as well.
Cheers.
Thank you.